Good evening. This is the House Judiciary Committee. It's Wednesday the 29th, 2023. We have a voting session. There are several bills that I am going to go first with that should not require amendments, that are cross files of bills that we've already passed. So I'm going to start with Senate Bill 54. I know there are some House bills here that are sitting in my hand. It's a motion for a favorable on Senate Bill 54 and a second. There are no amendments. It's passed in the same posture as the House bill. Are there any questions or any statements that anybody wants to make on Senate Bill 54? Delegate Munoz around? No. Is she not here? Cardin's in the lobby. There we go. Okay. Seeing no questions on Senate Bill 54 regarding the appeal of sodomy statute. The Vice Chair, yes. Munoz? No. No. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? No. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? No. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? No. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Yes. 18, the motion is adopted for a favorable. We'll go now to Senate Bill 71. There's a motion for a favorable and a second. This is a cross-file Delegate Phillips bill, and it is in the same posture. Is there discussion? Delegate Tolles. Okay, that's fine. Did I do something wrong? Oh, because it was Delegate Phillips' bill? I mean, we could spend an hour talking about that if you'd like. It's fine. All right. So this is Senator Brooks's bill, so I don't know. Seeing no real productive discussion, the Vice Chair, yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Yes. 22. Senator Bailey's bill, which was cross-filed by that strange man sitting over there we haven't seen in a while. Senator Simmons' bill. There's a motion for a favorable. Is there a second? And a second. Discussion. It's in the same posture as the Senate passed the bill. Any discussion? Seeing none. The Vice Chair. Yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? This motion's adopted. Go now to Senate Bill 106 and Polygrad Senator Sidner's bill because of the tie that Delegate Young is wearing. There's a motion for a favorable and a second. This is the bill that exempts $500 from a judgment. Yes. There's a motion and a second. Is there further questions? Yes. Delegate Munoz.
So my understanding was that the opposition that originally came in against this bill, they worked everything out, they amended it, and everyone was happy with it?
It's my understanding.
That is the understanding, that everybody is happy. We checked with the bankers who were worried about the amendment taken out. They're okay. They can live with it. So the creditors bar, the Maryland creditors bar was okay with it. Everybody seems to be okay.
Thank you.
The best I can tell you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Further questions? Seeing none, does anybody know the Heimlich? She's laughing. I don't know. All right, we're.
I was trying to help you.
It's at this point that I'd like to welcome the reporters from the Maryland Matters and the Baltimore Sun. I'm sorry, the Banner and Maryland Matters. I beg your pardon. Oh God. Okay, please. The Vice Chair. Yes. Munoz. Yes. Crutchfield. Yes. Cardin. Yes. Bartlett. She is giving a thumbs up signal for yes. Embry, yes. Could we get Delegate Bartlett a glass of water, please? Pasteur, yes. Tolles, yes. Schmidt, no. Simmons, yes. Boucher, no. Phillips, yes. Tomlinson, no. Erican, no. Taylor, yes. Simpson, yes. Grammer, no. Young, yes. Valentine, no. Conaway, yes. Kaufman, yes. Williams, yes. Motion passes. Okay. Senate Bill 150, right? Wait, 129, sorry, 129. Sorry. Senate Bill 129. It was passed in the same posture after 4 years as Delegate Crutchfield's bill on the repeal of the spousal defense. Yes. Are there any questions or comments? Delegate Conaway.
What exactly does this bill do?
Delegate Crutchfield, just for the last time, maybe, would you like to say what the bill does?
I know. For the last time.
And maybe until tomorrow.
No, this will be the last time.
Okay.
It will repeal the spousal defense, meaning that no longer will spouses have the ability to not be prosecuted for sexual crimes against their spouse.
Even fourth degree?
Even fourth degree.
Thank you very much, Doug.
You're welcome.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none. The Vice Chair?
Yes.
Yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Yes. Motion is adopted. All right. Senate Bill Senate Bill 150 is next. Senate Bill 150 is the cross-file. Who cross-filed this bill? I can't remember who cross-filed this bill. Holly, is this yours?
It's the
Oh, this is the treasurer bill that allows them to authorize written notice of a denial to be made by either email or regular mail as specified. It stops them from having to do certified mail, and it apparently saves $17,800. There's a motion for a favorable and a second. It's in the same posture as the House bill that we passed. Any further questions, comments on the bill? Seeing none. The Vice Chair. Yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? No. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Yes. Motion is adopted. We're going to hold 211 because it ended up on a voting list and we haven't actually had the hearing on it, which is, somebody tells me, kind of important, so I better, oops. Senate Bill 292 is next. This is Delegate Bartlett, this is your cross. Delegate Bartlett, if you can breathe, is it the same, in the same posture as your bill?
It is with an amendment.
Turn on your mic.
I do believe there is an amendment. Actually, there is an amendment, and that is that we amended dismissing of the case to dismissing the charge. And so it will, my House bill is being amended to fit this bill.
So the House bill is conforming to the Senate bill, so we're passing the Senate bill clean.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Thank
so there's a motion for a favorable and a second. Is there further discussion? Delegate Tolles.
I did want to, as part of the House amendment, is there a way to add a sponsor? Because I really wanted to be on this particular
So we only have the Senate bill in
Right,
front
no,
of us.
I was saying
They
because
can't
she's
add
amending.
delegates in the Senate.
Okay, so they're amending it. No. Without, I know that much. Okay, I don't want to seem like an idiot. I know that much. I was saying, based off what Delegate Bartlett said, that they are amending the House version. So what you were saying was that the Senate is amending. the
Yes.
House, not the House, not
Yeah.
we or not. Okay, that was what I was clarifying.
That's
Thank
correct.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Seeing none, the Vice Chair? Yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Look at what you did. Oh. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Motion's adopted. We go now. We heard, this is the Attorney General's bill, Senate Bill 540 on civil rights enforcement. That bill passed on the House version of the bill passed on third reader today. This is the Senate version of the bill. Could I have a motion on the bill? There's a motion for a favorable and a second. So again, we passed the House Bill 772 off the floor of the House today. And that's where we are. So this is the Senate bill. Same posture as the House bill. Does anybody have any questions, comments? This is again providing authority to the Attorney General. This is the Senate bill version, providing authority to the Attorney General to do civil rights cases. Seeing none. The Vice Chair. Yes. Munoz. No. Crutchfield. Yes. Cardin. Yes. Bartlett. Yes. Embry. Yes. Pasteur. Yes. Tolles. Yes. Schmidt. No. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? No. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? No. Erican? No. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? No. Young? Yes. Valentine? No. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Yes. The motion is adopted on Senate Bill 540. Senate Bill 792 is a cross-file of Delegate Cardin's bill that we passed just now. Motion for a favorable and a second. Is there further discussion? This is the domestic partnerships bill that we passed just last week, right? And we just passed it off the floor yesterday. Yes. All right, it's in the same posture. Any questions? Seeing none. The Vice Chair? Yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? Yes. Conaway? Okay. Excused. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? Yes. Motion is adopted. All right. Now, we will go back to the top of the list. House Bill 526 is a St. Mary's County delegation bill. And it has to do with moving the child support unit out of the state's attorney's office and moving it to the child support unit for the state. There is an amendment. Who has this one? Is this Holly? Hi. Can you tell us what the amendment does, please?
The amendment adds language relating to employer contributions under the state employees pension system, and this was language requested by the state retirement and pension system. And it also changes some dates and alters the number of PIN numbers.
All right. Could I have a motion on the amendment? Motion and a second. On the amendment, any discussion on the amendment? So there is a fiscal impact on the bill, and so there is a budgetary question. It's why it's going the way it is right now, because they're going to have to figure out whether this fits in the budget question. But I will say that St. Mary's County is, I think, one of the last counties that still has the child support unit within the state's attorney's office. So from a policy perspective, it makes sense. It's a question of whether that's a question for the people in the Appropriations Committee, and that's going to apply, I think, for the next bill as well. All right. So, all in favor of the amendment? Okay, Valentine, on a question on the amendment or on the bill? Right. There is a fiscal note question, but again, we're trying to. All right. On the amendment, if you're in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. Anybody opposed to the amendment? Were you opposed to the amendment, Delegate Taylor, or no? No. Okay, that's fine. Amendment's adopted. We're on the bill as amended. There's a motion for a favorable and a second. Any further discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none. The Vice Chair? Yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pasteur? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? Yes. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? Yes. Erican? Yes. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? Yes. Young? Yes. Valentine? Yes. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? Yes. Williams? All right. That is adopted. House Bill 1066. There is no cross-file of this bill. There is an amendment to the bill that does this amendment do? This is Claire.
Yeah, it substitutes a representative of the Women's Law Center as a member of the commission.
All right.
It substitutes a representative of the Women's Law Center for a representative of the Baltimore County Department of Diversity and Inclusion.
Okay.
Yes.
Law Center, but it takes out Baltimore County DEI.
Correct.
That's what she said, it substitutes it. Right? That's why
Yes.
I'm clarifying it, it's substituting. It's substituting. It's removing the
Baltimore County Department of Diversity and Inclusion. This was submitted by the sponsor of the bill.
And it adds in the Women's Law Center.
Yes.
I'm going through the different people who are included in here, and I don't believe that there are any, from my looking on here, that specifically are from a county department of anything. So the idea is that everybody else has a statewide or regional impact as opposed to just a county impact, so that's why. Could I have a motion on the amendment, please? Motion for an amendment in a second. All in favor, unless somebody has a question. Delegate Erican.
Thanks. So can you just go back over, like, what exactly this bill does and why we're changing it to the Women's Law Center?
I think that first, it continues a commission on hate crime response and prevention that the Attorney General has had as a task force for some time. It turns it, I guess, from a task force into a commission. And they're adding, again, they're changing out the Baltimore County group with a statewide group as opposed to having a county-specific organization. And I guess
Oh,
this is
because
a
it's
county-specific. Right, so these are more statewide or regional organizations as opposed to just the county department.
Oh, but why was the Women's Law Center specifically chosen?
That,
What do they have to do with this subject?
with hate crime legislation, I mean,
Yeah.
there are sometimes hate crimes that can be perpetrated against women.
Yeah, but still it feels a little obscure. I'd love to know why what was the impetus of switching that to this specific group? And so this is just an extension. It already exists.
It already exists, and I think that there are representatives of the Women's Law Center who've been participating already.
Oh, okay. And like some of these other qualifiers, they were
Yes.
already, okay. All right, thanks.
Delegate Embry.
No, the Attorney General's letter of support with amendments requested these amendments. They wanted the representative of a women's organization, and they said that the Baltimore County Department no longer exists, or so. This could be another reason.
Had the one reason, but that's maybe an even better reason why that would be a thing. Delegate Young, any more?
Same concept, but the
what-
Women's Law
okay.
Center asked it for it in there as well. That's all I was going to say.
All right. Did we do the amendment? On the amendment, all in favor of the amendment, raise your hands. Anyone opposed to the amendment? Seeing none, the amendment is adopted. Motion for a favorable as amended. Is there a second? Second. And a second. Any further discussion on the bill? Seeing none. The Vice Chair? Yes. Munoz? Yes. Crutchfield? Yes. Cardin? Yes. Bartlett? Yes. Embry? Yes. Pestier? Yes. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? No. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? Yes. Phillips? Yes. Tomlinson? No. Erican? No. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? No. Young? Yes. Valentine? No. Conaway? Yes. Kaufman? You aren't already? Yeah, okay. Kaufman is adding on. Williams? Yes. Anybody else want to add on? Going once. Conaway? Anyone else? Seeing none, the motion's adopted. Okay. House Bill 1. There is an amendment. So there's an amendment to conform House Bill 1 with the Senate bill that we heard yesterday. There's a motion for the amendment. Is there a second? Motion and a second. We're on the amendment. Is there discussion on the amendment? Sure. Can we, so this is going to generally go, I think, to the bill more than to the amendment. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll do discussion. She'll talk about how the bill stands after the amendment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
Laura.
can go through the amendments first.
That's fine.
Yes, okay, so it alters the amendment alters the definition of sexual abuse, prohibits an action for damages that would have been barred by a time limitation before the bill's effective date to be brought if the alleged victim of abuse is deceased at the commencement of the action, except as provided under the Maryland Tort Claims Act, the Local Government Tort Claims Act, and the provisions relating to county boards of education. It limits the amount of non-economic damages that may be awarded to a single claimant in an action against a single defendant for a claim that would have been barred by a time limitation before the bill's effective date to $1.5 million. It caps the liability of a local government, a county board of education, and the state or its units for a claim of child sexual abuse at $890,000 for a single claimant. It increases the minimum comprehensive liability coverage county boards of education must carry under statute to reflect the $890,000 liability limit. And it authorizes a defendant in a claim brought pursuant to the bill to appeal an order denying a motion to dismiss if the motion is based on the defense that the claim is barred and any legislative action reviving the claim is unconstitutional.
Questions on the amendment? Delegate Valentine.
Am I reading this correct? I may have like amendment number 12. Is it striking the portion that says if the action is filed before October 1st, 2025? Is that part of this, or there's a strike? Is that in this amendment packet?
Can you
Your life.
Can you repeat that? Where you're looking?
I have
in the reprint, please.
I have it. It would be like on the very last page, or the next to last page.
Okay.
In the paragraph where it says section, which is now from 2 to 3, where I think it was explained to me like originally there was a window in which this statute of limitations would be eliminated. But
The
and then it would
amendment
sunset.
eliminates the window.
It eliminates that window.
It
So
eliminates
now,
the window and allows for people to go back at any time.
at any time moving forward.
Correct.
Okay.
Are there further questions on the amendment? Delegate Schmidt.
Was that an amendment we put in here?
That was an amendment that the Senate put in.
The amendment that
The
the
Senate put in, yes.
Okay, yeah, because we looked at that today and we just had some questions on where it came from and things like that. So, thank you.
It was the Senate. It's part of the larger negotiation on the bill that has been happening between Delegate Wilson, between Senator Smith, and others. So, yes. Delegate Tolles.
That was just my question, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Is Chair Wilson okay with these
Yes.
changes? Thank you.
Yes. Further questions on the amendment? We have a motion and a second already on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. Is there anyone opposed to the amendment? One opposed. The amendment is adopted. We are on the bill as amended. There's a motion for a favorable.
Second.
As amended. Are there further comments or questions for the committee? This conforms it with the Senate bill.
So we are ready to go.
Mr. Chair,
Delegate Williams.
since we're amending the bill, if people want to get added on, would that be?
I don't know who's already, no one is added on to the bill as of this point. If you wish to be added on, you need to tell me when the time comes.
Okay.
All right? Are there further questions? Sorry. It has taken a long time. So let's not wait any longer. The Vice Chair. Yes. Yes. Add on. Munoz. Yes. Crutchfield. Yes, add on. Cardin. Yes. Bartlett. Yes. Embry. Yes, and add on. Pasteur. Yes, and add on. Tolles. Yes, and add on. Sorry. Delegate Schmidt. Yes. Yes, I did. Simmons. Yes, and add on. Boucher. Phillips. Yes, and an add on. Tomlinson is excused. Arakan. Yes, and an add on. Taylor. Yes. Yes, and an add on. Simpson. Yes, and an add on. Grammer. Yes, and an add on. Young. Yep, yes, and an add on. Valentine is excused. Conaway. Yes, and an add on. Kaufman. You have to cast it first. Yes. And you may explain your vote.
A yes vote in honor of Chairman C.T. Wilson, who has waited far too long and suffered far too much to reach this day. But this proves the old adage that good things come to those who wait.
And wait they did. Delegate Williams. The chair votes aye. The motion is adopted. Okay. Thank you all very much. We have another bill. I'm sorry, we have another bill. We're going to do one more. Thank you very much. We have Delegate Williams. Are there amendments? There are amendments to conform House Bill 808 to the Senate bill. There are motion for the amendments. Is there a second? Second. Let's see. Okay. Can we get a brief description as to what the amendments do? Delegate Williams or Lauren, who would like to do that?
Okay, so the amendments do several things. They create an exception to the prohibition in the bill against a court granting an order for electronic surveillance to investigate acts relating to legally protected health care where the acts forming the basis for the investigation would constitute a crime in Maryland. They clarify language relating to the prohibition on health occupations boards taking disciplinary action related to legally protected health care. They clarify that the prohibition on insurers taking adverse actions against practitioners also applies to a practitioner making a referral for legally protected health care. Clarifies that a medical or professional liability insurer's required annual submission of rates to the Maryland Insurance Administration does not qualify as an adverse action under the bill, and changes the effective date of the bill from October 1 to June 1.
There's a motion and second already on the amendments. So we are on the amendments. Are there questions about the amendments? Delegate Arakan.
Thank you so much. So can somebody just walk me through exactly what kind of scenarios we're trying to avoid here? I'm having a hard time imagining who this is actually protecting and exactly how it's doing that.
Yes, thank you, Delegate Arakan. So, this bill is protecting a lot of different people. It is protecting medical providers who either may provide various services or even just simply make a referral for services. It is protecting social workers. It is protecting the Uber car driver. It is protecting persons, friends, people, a large swath of people.
Okay, but right now, I'm confused why right now they're not already able to do these things. Like, what's the problem?
Well, let me just, I'll start with medical providers. So say I'm an attorney, I'm barred in multiple states. The same is true for a lot of medical providers.
Okay.
They may not only practice medicine here in Maryland, but they may have a license to practice in West Virginia or Pennsylvania or some other state. Even in Texas, because they may have lived in Texas at one point, moved here to Maryland, but want to retain their medical license in Texas, for an example.
Okay.
And so what this bill would do is state, one of the things that this bill will do is if I lose my Texas license or my license in West Virginia because I'm practicing abortion care here in Maryland, it will not affect my ability, it will not cause me to lose my medical license here in Maryland, for an
Right
example.
now it can. So, like, if you get in trouble in one state, another state can use that as a reason to kill your license there, too.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
Same thing for lawyers. If I get disbarred in the District of Columbia, the District of Columbia will send notifications to all of the other states in which I am barred, and then those states can also disbar me.
Interesting.
So, just as an example.
Okay, and so this is, there's some specific things. Does it actually lay out specifically what is now going to be protected? Like if there's some kind of negligent action here, that this does not prevent.
That is correct. So if I, if I think that a doctor has performed malpractice, I still have that claim. I still have the ability to sue that doctor for malpractice. You'll see language throughout the bill that says whether it's a right and contract towards, and that will still allow that ability that if I have a claim because of breach of contract or if I have a tort claim, I can still bring those claims under this bill.
Okay, even if it was like during the procedure,
correct,
a board of procedure, if someone is injured.
If that medical provider failed in their standard of care that they are legally bound to provide, then yes, you still have a cause of action.
Okay, all right, that's good, because I think litigation is the great equalizer.
Wonderful.
Further questions on the amendment? Delegate Phillips.
I just wanted to make sure I was clear also, because I thought this bill also takes care of, I know you said a lot of folks, one of the big issues is when you are near a border, like West Virginia, even the person that takes the person from West Virginia and brings them into Maryland is protected from this, right?
That is correct. So if for some odd reason that person would be subpoenaed to come to West Virginia, for an example, this bill would protect them from doing so. Now, as the individual, I can say, even though I'm protected, I still want to participate anyway. That person can still say, I still want to participate in that lawsuit in West Virginia or that case in West Virginia. But that's up to the person. They are not going to be compelled to do so.
To do that.
Further questions on the amendment? All right. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. All opposed to the amendment, please raise your hands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The amendment's adopted. There's a motion for favorable on the amendment. And a second. We're on the bill as amended. Further questions or comments about the bill? Delegate Williams.
Oh, no, I was pointing Delegate Munoz.
Oh, Delegate Munoz, sorry. I beg your pardon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to ask about the legal precedent for this. Are there any other issues that we have in Maryland where we do not have any sort of legal reciprocity with other states?
I mean, I think I'm going to go back to my lawyer hat because that's the one I'm most familiar with. Being a member of the bar. So if I am a member of the bar in West Virginia, I cannot automatically just waive into Maryland. I would have to sit for the Maryland attorney's exam versus if I wanted to become barred in New Jersey. Virginia has reciprocity with New Jersey, but we do not have reciprocity with Virginia. We really don't have reciprocity with a whole heck of a lot of states, actually, in that regard.
So if I'm only barred here in Maryland and I went to Virginia and illegally practiced law,
You
And
would
then
have
I
to
came-
sit for the Virginia exam.
No, I'm illegally practicing it there. And then I come back to Maryland, and then Virginia wants me to appear.
Well, you have your bar license already in Maryland. You go down to Virginia, you take the exam in
No,
Virginia.
no, that's not my
Oh.
that's not my hypothetical.
Oh, what's your, I'm sorry.
So in Maryland, I can practice law. In Virginia, I cannot.
Correct.
But I go to Virginia, I illegally practice law there. I come back to Maryland, and Virginia wants me to appear.
For the
Can this,
unauthorized practice of law.
will the state of Maryland protect me and not allow Virginia to
Well, that would be a
prosecute
crime.
me?
Well, so here's the thing. That would be a crime here in Maryland to engage in the unauthorized practice of law. And because it's a crime here in Maryland, you would be compelled to go to Virginia because it's a crime in Virginia as well.
So
Now,
that's
if
what I'm
it-
looking for.
I just want to back up for a second. So if it was not a crime here in Maryland, the unauthorized practice of law, then in theory, it would be a different scenario. And that's kind of what's under this bill. Here in this bill, abortion is legal here in Maryland, but it's not legal in some states. And that's okay. That's that state's prerogative. But if you were to engage in providing abortion care here in Maryland, and then you decide to go to Texas, and you know it's not legal in Texas, and then you provide that care in Texas, and then you come back here to Maryland, if this bill is law, then Texas could not subpoena you to come back. Well, that's a little different. Actually, they could subpoena you to come back to Texas because it's illegal there. But if you perform the abortion in Maryland, then they could not compel you to come to Texas because it's illegal there.
And what is the legal precedent for this? What else?
So
exists?
there's a number of Supreme Court cases, and I think this might be getting to other day you were asking about full faith and credit. And so there are a number of Supreme Court cases as well as cases from what we now call the Supreme Court of Maryland that basically state that full faith and credit does have its limitations, and it has its limitations in cases where the law that is being enacted, or the law, not the enactment of the law, but the law is penal in nature, basically. And so it doesn't it doesn't provide damages to someone who's actually been harmed. It basically, the purpose of the law is to deter someone from engaging in a particular action or to penalize someone because they engaged in a particular action. And when you have those types of laws, there is an exception to full faith and credit under those circumstances. And the Supreme Court has been very clear in a number of different cases that that is indeed the case.
And so between states like Maryland and any other state, what are the examples of that?
So the examples of that, there was one case that I was reading where the Securities Exchange Commission was trying to assess a penalty against someone.
The federal?
Yes.
Okay,
federal.
but between states is what I'm asking about.
Let's go back to some of the case law. Sure, go ahead, Sam.
It's old, but the fugitive slave law was an example, where some states refused to uphold the act. Because some states said fugitive slave law said
So
that
that
if
was
you...
federal, though.
Yeah.
So I'm talking state to state.
Well, I'm telling you what the states did. I mean, some states said, we're not going to adhere to...
And that's like marijuana, right? Because the federal government has said it's illegal. Some states have legalized, some states haven't. But I'm talking specifically
it could have been
two separate states who have different laws. Like, is there precedent for this?
Research side?
Delegate Phillips.
Actually, Delegate Bartlett was on the right path. There were certain states during slavery who did not recognize slavery, period. State law. Courts would not recognize it. So if a slave, this is very clear, ran away, got to Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania did not recognize Virginia's law regarding slavery. And that individual was not being sent back, would not be recognized. Similarly, in this particular matter, if someone left Texas, came to Maryland, had an abortion, we are not going to recognize a request for them to be brought back to Texas to be prosecuted because they had an abortion. Is that a fair statement with this bill?
That's a fair statement.
And so you're talking about the impetus before the Civil War between states.
That was correct. Between states, there were laws between states where certain laws
Yeah.
of different states were not recognized.
So since the Civil War, please.
Racial marriages. And some states did. So the Loving versus Loving case comes to mind, so that's an example. Some states allowed interracial marriages, some states didn't. Virginia was one of them.
So the states.
So if you were married in Maryland, let's say Maryland was, I can't remember when Maryland interracial marriage laws came into effect, but if you were married in Maryland and you went to Virginia, and especially in Loving versus Loving, I think that's why they got arrested. I think that's why they were charged. They went to D.C. They got married in D.C. And Virginia didn't.
They lived in D.C. and then went back to Virginia, and that's when they were arrested.
Right. That's where I was going. Yeah. So D.C. did recognize. Virginia didn't recognize their marriage. When they went to Virginia, they were arrested because they were breaking the law in Virginia.
Okay, so you're saying, so if someone, let's just keep using Virginia. I don't know, it's easy.
Yeah.
So if someone from Virginia comes to Maryland, has an abortion, I guess they'd have to stay here.
No.
In order for Maryland to protect the fact that they.
We have to go back to the bill sponsor for that. So can you use that example?
I'm just trying to understand, yeah. So if pretend that abortion was illegal in Virginia.
Okay.
And it's legal here in Maryland. And so if someone from Virginia came to Maryland, had an abortion, went back to Virginia, then the Virginia courts would have the authority to prosecute them for whatever crime. But this bill is going to do what for them exactly?
So if they come here to Maryland, they're from Virginia, they come here to Maryland, they have their procedure here in Maryland. And then Virginia tries, and keep in mind, this is dealing with laws like SB 8 here in Texas. So this is dealing with an individual, not necessarily the state, taking a cause of action against someone because of something that they did.
Okay, so like the father of the baby.
Hypothetically speaking. Okay, and so in that scenario, what we're saying is that the father cannot subpoena that individual to come to court for something that they did in a state that was legal in our state.
But how can Virginia would have control over
But that individual does not
domicile
have,
there.
but that individual was not harmed. And this goes back to my point talking earlier about how the nature of the bill is penal in nature. That's the difference.
But so when the sheriff shows up at her door to take her to court in Virginia because Virginia law.
And her attorney is going to argue that she got the health care in Maryland where it is perfectly legal.
But if we're not upholding their laws with full faith and credit, then why would they care what we pass here?
Why would they care? Because they can reach into our state. And that's why we care. This is a very unique situation. And so we have other states, and I know I'm talking about Texas, but there are other states that have copied what Texas has done and are currently in the process of trying to copy what Texas has done. And so we want to make sure that we are protecting Marylanders with whatever choices that they make. And the people...
okay.
Right.
So we would then be able to, they wouldn't be able to subpoena the doctors, the nurses, the organizations,
Correct.
the Uber driver, like you said, but we wouldn't actually be able to protect the woman who had the abortion if she goes back to her original domicile.
We are protecting her from being subpoenaed or summoned into court down there.
How is that possible? Because they're a different state. This is our law. They're not going to follow it because we're not following
But they
theirs.
did not, again, they did not have the procedure in Virginia. They have the procedure here in Maryland. That's the difference. If they had the procedure in Virginia and it was illegal in Virginia, then that's a different scenario.
Okay, so if a woman, I'm really trying to like understand how this is going to work because this is new. I mean, except for
Well,
the
it's
Civil
not really
War.
new. I mean, there's lots of other states that have similar laws on their books. California, Illinois, Massachusetts. I mean, there's like about the District of Columbia. There's about 10 different states that have already enacted similar legislation, and there's about 7 other states that have enacted this through executive order. So this isn't actually kind of a new thing. It's something that's already been enacted in a number of different states across the country.
Okay, so I understand we'll protect Marylanders here from being prosecuted by other states when they assist in abortions. But my question is, so if it's the father who if a woman leaves a state, 9 months pregnant, has an abortion.
Well, first of all, 9
comes-
months pregnant is a whole different scenario.
So then what's the line? Because then I'm thinking if she comes back,
Well,
she no longer has that
I think
baby.
our laws are very clear about that. This law does not modify any of our current laws as it relates to abortion care generally.
Yeah, so
here
she
in,
could
here in the state of Maryland.
have an abortion.
Most
at
people
9
have an
months.
abortion within that first trimester.
I'm just saying, but with this
Okay.
hypothetical, I'm just trying to understand. So she has a baby that's 36 weeks, leaves the state of Virginia, comes to Maryland, has an abortion, goes back to Virginia without the baby. The father brings a cause of action.
On what grounds?
In Virginia.
On what grounds?
The fact that his baby's been killed in Maryland. Because in Virginia, he would have that cause of action, hypothetically.
That's not a... So...
36 weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop his cause of action.
Well, it would stop his cause of action in the sense of he hasn't incurred any damages. If he... And I know that...
No, I'm not trying to make a face. I'm sorry. But we're
Okay.
talking about a baby, his child, so I feel like that's a damage, but...
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but, okay.
So what I was going to say is, he can bring the cause of action in Virginia. We can't stop the cause of action.
Yeah, that's what I was
Right,
thinking.
or he could bring the cause of action in Texas.
Mhm.
What we are doing is protecting anybody that participated in that cause of action. They will not have to provide any testimony, provide any records, do anything to assist in the prosecution if it was done in Maryland and protected under what we are attempting to pass today.
So he could bring the claim of action, but he wouldn't be able to prove anything because he wouldn't be able to prove anything because the records and everything would have been in Maryland, and they would not be able to subpoena those records or get those records from, in a Virginia case,
Mhm.
from a Maryland provider under this bill.
Okay, so it's all the evidence that we're...
The evidence would be the issue.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
All right. We are still on the
amendment.
we're on the bill as amended, if I'm not mistaken. But lots of people have their lights on, and okay. So Kaufman, Cardin, Tolles.
I guess I withdraw because I think that what I was going to say, Mr. Chair, is that I motioned to vote on the previous question because numerous efforts have been made to answer questions, but since my colleagues had their lights on too.
We'll do a couple more, and then I see Delegate Tolles has come down.
Mention, I got a text from Michelle Siri at the Women's Law Center that she thought that you may have confused everybody inadvertently, that that protects people while they're in the state of Maryland, and it protects the evidence from leaving the state of Maryland, but it won't protect people who, which I think was what Delegate Phillips had said, who go back to Virginia or another state. So that's...
Delegate Taylor.
Will somehow we create a perception that it's easier to get an abortion in Maryland by passing this? And what are, I don't know this, so please help me. What is our abortion law here? I mean, you mentioned, I'm sorry, Delegate Munoz, you mentioned 9 months. Now, what is our viability date for an abortion in Maryland? You said full term?
Yes.
It's 24 weeks, but it's 3 trimesters. It can't be in the 3rd trimester, well, unless it's, I think, the life or health of the money.
So life
No,
and health
that's
of the
an
mother.
amendment I put in that did not pass last year.
But I think that's existing, where I think the first 3,
Nope. It's up until
I
birth.
can yield to the sponsor.
Yeah, I believe it's up to 24 weeks, like the chair said, or after that. Huh?
I put that amendment in and it was rejected.
Unless the health of the mother. Or
That was my amendment and it was rejected on the House floor last year. It's between the woman and the doctor. That's what they said, up until birth.
Yep.
It's between the woman and the doctor up until birth.
I'm happy to elaborate if anybody wants to.
The 24 weeks was my amendment.
Go to Delegate Eric Cambrian, please.
Thank you. So the current rule is that if the mother states that she is having mental health issues related to the pregnancy, then she can have an abortion up to birth. And that's the current law. So, for example, if I was 9 months pregnant and I was having emotional or mental health issues, I could tell my doctor that, and I could still go and get an abortion for my baby up until the moment that it exits my body.
Delegate Simpson.
Well, my understanding of Maryland law was that it currently is the 1992 law, which says it allows for abortion if the fetus is not viable outside of the womb, unless, of course, there is, once again, a miscarriage or the life of the mother.
Right.
Can counsel give
Abortion,
us
what
Maryland
I
law?
have and what the law that I have here is abortion is legal in Maryland until viability, which is the stage of pregnancy when a fetus has developed enough that is able to survive outside the uterus without medical help. It usually happens around 24 to 26 weeks of pregnancy.
But what's the caveat? Mental or physical health of the mother?
And up until birth, when necessary to preserve the life, physical, or mental health of the pregnant woman.
That's right.
All right. And there's a motion for the previous question. All in favor of moving the previous question, say aye. Opposed, nay. All right. We are moving on the previous question. The question is on the bill as amended. And we will take a roll call. The Vice Chair. Yes. Munoz. No. No. Crutchfield. Yes. Cardin.
Yes, to briefly explain, I'm going to put in a similar piece of legislation, and I'm thrilled to be able to ask to be added on to this one instead.
Add on for Cardin. Bartlett and add on for Moon. Bartlett? Yes. Crutchfield adds on. Embry? Yes, and an add-on. Pasteur? Yes, and add-on. Tolles? Yes. Schmidt? No. Simmons? Yes. Boucher? No. Phillips? Yes, and add-on. Tomlinson? No. Erican? No. Taylor? Yes. Simpson? Yes. Grammer? No. Young? Yes. Valentine? No. Conaway? Yes, and an add-on. Kaufman? Yes, and an add-on. Williams? Yes. Chair votes aye. The motion's adopted. Okay, that is all for today. We may have voting sessions tomorrow. We definitely have bill hearings tomorrow. And so we will see you then. Likely we will have voting on Friday as well. So we will see you soon. Thank you.